Yo, what is good, everyone? Hope you're doing well. So I'm on EU, and I'm quickly going to run through, um, a bit of price action. And yeah, so what we had, or what we was looking at, was when price was around this area, we was trading it into, this sort of 15-minute inflection point, and potentially looking to get long from here, dependent on what price was doing on the lower time frames. And this is a 15-minute area. I posted this on Instagram. Um, but if we go to a 15-minute time frame, you can see that area. So the last down close candle, which would be that one there. And price tapped into the hourly candle that I spoke on in a previous video. And we now respected that. We've come into this level. There was a lot of opportunity to get involved. So if I look at the 1 minute time frame, we had, well, firstly, actually, on the 15-minute, if I just zoom in, we had this move here that's put in a new lower low, and we had the last up close candle. So that move is here. So we tapped in, and this doesn't really meet my own personal checklist, but it's broken structure, and we had a reaction from this area here. We reacted, pushed off, but then ultimately we came into the 15-minute sort of supply, and you would have been tagged in there. It's definitely a great trade, and it would have worked out. And then next sort of entry, we break structure, we form a bit of liquidity. We had this area. Now I did set an entry on this area, but it didn't get tagged in. And if you was taking the sort of range rather than this candle, then you would have been tagged in. But for me, that's what I took and didn't get tagged into it. And then we pushed down, and we have some, clear order flow here, lower lows, lower highs. And then once price tapped into the 15-minute area, this is really key. So what we can see is we tapped in, we pulled off, we put in a new lower low. So we have a swing point, a little range, and what we can see is the most recent supply would be this area here. So you can see these 4 or 5 candles, a clear sort of range, and then we broke structure. That put in a new lower low, and this is the most recent supply. So this is what I'm looking at for price to break before I'm even anticipating getting in long. So you can see we come up, and we actually, although this isn't a valid order block, or because it hasn't broken structure, we mitigate the supply, and then we actually come back down to mitigate this sort of these 3 candles, or mostly this candle. And then it was actually, we pulled off and push up, pull back, we break structure. Okay, so that's not really a very clear break, or there's not momentum there, but we can see, look, price come down, we mitigated supply, we come down with a wick, and we broke structure. So what's that showing us? Well, price has failed to put in a new lower low, and instead we've broken structure. We previously mitigated, then we broke. So supply has failed. That has created demand. So you could choose this candle, but for me, when we've got a clear wick like this, I'd rather take the wick, and if it goes from here, then that's fine. But I'd rather take the wick, because on a time frame down, there will be something within that, and we can see I set my entry on the top of that wick and got tagged in 1.7 pip stop loss. And you can see, look, sorry about that. You can see we've now pushed in, and once I got tagged in, we had a little range, pushed off, we tapped into another area of, you could say supply, but it's not really valid for me. We come in, we break it. So I was looking to scale in on this, but we didn't really break with momentum. And you can see we're now putting in higher highs and higher lows. and this is where price currently is.